Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in history that remind us of the extraordinary strength of the human spirit. Moments that test courage, endurance, and the power of global unity. One such moment took place in June 2018, deep in the Tham Luang cave in Thailand, where a group of young boys and their coach found themselves in a life-threatening situation that captured the attention of the entire world. What began as an ordinary adventure for 12 young soccer players turned into a nightmare when sudden monsoon rains flooded the cave, trapping them miles from the entrance. The world watched in horror as days passed with no sign of the boys. Their families prayed. Their country hoped. And soon, the world rallied behind them. Rescuers faced nearly impossible odds. The cave was completely dark, its narrow passages filled with murky water and strong currents. Oxygen levels dropped dangerously low, and time was running out. But against all challenges, heroes emerged. A team of Thai Navy SEALs, expert cave divers, and volunteers from across the globe joined forces in one of the most dangerous and complex rescues in modern history. After 9 agonizing days, the missing team was found, hungry, weak, but alive. The world breathed a sigh of relief, but the hardest part was yet to come. Getting them out safely required an unthinkable strategy, sedating the boys to keep them calm as expert divers guided them through treacherous underwater tunnels. One wrong move could mean disaster. With extraordinary skill, determination, and sacrifice, the impossible became possible. Over 3 tense days, each boy was carefully brought out, one by one, until all 13 were safe. The world rejoiced, but we also mourned the heroes who gave their lives in this mission of hope. This story is not just about survival. It is about unity, courage, and the limitless power of human kindness. It is a reminder that even in the darkest of times, when hope seems lost, the strength of the human spirit can overcome any challenge. There are moments in history that remind us of the extraordinary strength of the human spirit. Moments that test courage, endurance, and the power of global unity. One such moment took place in June 2018, deep in the Tham Luang cave in northern Thailand, where a group of young boys and their coach found themselves trapped in a life-threatening situation that captured the attention of the entire world. This was not just a local tragedy, it was a test of humanity's resilience and determination. People from different countries, backgrounds, and professions came together, united by one goal: to bring these boys home. It was a race against time, against nature, and against fear itself. But through the efforts of remarkable individuals, a rescue mission unlike any other unfolded before our eyes. What started as a fun-filled adventure soon turned into a nightmare. On June 23, 2018, 12 boys from the Wild Boars soccer team, along with their assistant coach, ventured into the Tham Luang cave after a practice session. It was meant to be a simple excursion, something they had done before, an opportunity to explore and bond as a team. However, as they ventured deeper into the cave, an unexpected disaster struck. Monsoon rains, which typically arrive later in the season, came down with sudden force, filling the cave's narrow passageways with water. Within moments, their route to the entrance was completely submerged, leaving them stranded in total darkness, miles from the cave's opening. With no way to communicate with the outside world, no food, and a rapidly depleting oxygen supply, their situation was dire. The only thing they had was each other, and hope for those on the outside. Realizing what had happened was only the beginning. Rescuers arrived at the cave's entrance, but they quickly understood the enormous difficulty of what lay ahead. The cave was complex, a twisting maze of jagged rocks, narrow tunnels, and deep pools of water. To make matters worse, the monsoon rains continued. The rising water levels meant that many of the pathways leading into the cave were completely flooded. The air inside was growing toxic due to lack of oxygen. The boys were somewhere in the depths, but reaching them was an entirely different challenge. This was no ordinary search and rescue operation. It was an unpredictable, high-risk mission where a single mistake could mean disaster. Not just for the boys, but for the rescuers themselves. Time was running out and the odds were stacked against them. The news of the trapped boys spread like wildfire, and soon, the entire world was watching. As days passed with no sign of the team, desperation grew. Local authorities and Thai Navy SEALs led the efforts, but they knew they needed more help. That's when expert cave divers from across the globe answered the call. Divers from the UK, Australia, the United States, China, and several other nations joined forces, bringing specialized equipment and knowledge. Volunteers, engineers, and medical experts contributed in every way they could. The operation became an international effort, with teams working tirelessly around the clock to develop a plan that could bring the boys home alive. Beyond the experts, local villagers, monks, and volunteers also played a role. Farmers sacrificed their crops to help divert water away from the caves. People donated food and supplies to support the rescue workers. It was a moment where humanity stood together, proving that in times of crisis, people can come together to achieve the impossible. Finding the boys was like searching for a needle in a haystack, except this haystack was a flooded, pitch-black cave with treacherous conditions. Rescuers first had to navigate over 2 miles of dark, underwater tunnels, feeling their way through sharp rocks and narrow spaces that barely allowed one person to squeeze through. Days passed with no sign of life. The parents of the boys gathered outside the cave, praying and holding on to hope. The world watched with bated breath, fearing the worst. Then, on the 9th day, after nearly giving up hope, 2 British cave divers made an incredible discovery. As they pushed further into the cave, their flashlight beams illuminated a rocky ledge. And there, huddled together, were the missing boys and their coach alive. Weak, hungry, but alive. The world erupted in relief and joy. But there was still one major problem. How to get them out, bringing the boys to safety was not as simple as guiding them back the way the rescuers had come. The narrow tunnels and flooded paths made that impossible. The boys had no diving experience, and panic in such an environment could be fatal. After consulting experts, a radical and high-risk plan was developed. The boys would have to be sedated, put into a state of unconsciousness so they could be safely transported underwater. Each would be fitted with a full-face diving mask, and a skilled diver would carry them through the treacherous waters, one by one. This method had never been attempted before. It was risky. The divers knew that if something went wrong, there would be no way to revive the boys deep inside the cave. But it was the only chance they had. While the world cheered on the efforts of the rescue teams, few understood the immense danger these divers faced. The currents were strong, the visibility was nearly zero, and even the most experienced divers struggled in the conditions. One man made the ultimate sacrifice. A former Thai Navy SEAL who had volunteered for the mission lost his life while delivering oxygen to the trapped boys. His bravery and dedication were a reminder of the true risks involved in this mission. Every single person involved in the rescue put their lives on the line. They pushed past exhaustion, faced their deepest fears, and refused to give up. Because the lives of 13 people depended on them, the rescue mission was carried out over 3 intense days. One by one, the boys were carefully guided through the dark, flooded passages, unconscious and unaware of the life-or-death journey they were taking. The world watched as, miraculously, the impossible was happening. Day by day, one boy after another emerged from the cave, alive. Medical teams were ready to rush them to safety, where they received urgent care. On the final day, as the last boy and their coach were brought out, cheers erupted across Thailand and beyond. The mission was a success. Against all odds, all 13 had survived. But this rescue was more than just a story of survival. It was proof that when the world comes together, when people push past fear and embrace courage, the most incredible feats can be achieved. The Thai cave rescue was more than just an extraordinary survival story. It was a testament to the power of unity, courage, and the unwavering human spirit. It showed us that in the face of impossible odds, determination and teamwork can triumph over despair. This mission was not just about saving 13 lives. It was about proving that kindness, bravery, and sacrifice can bridge cultures, nations, and backgrounds. People from different parts of the world came together, not for personal gain, but for a cause greater than themselves. We remember the heroes, the divers, the rescuers, the volunteers, and the ones who made the ultimate sacrifice. Their courage teaches us that even in the darkest moments, hope must never be lost. The story of the Wild Boars and their rescue will forever remind us that no challenge is too great when humanity stands together. It is a beacon of hope, a symbol of resilience, and a powerful reminder that miracles happen when we refuse to give up.